Love and light collective, love and light, and welcome back to another video. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video and joining me tonight in this reading. So this reading, not even a reading, this little twin flame saga, let's call it that. But this is going to be a little bit different. I don't even know if I'm going to be pulling the cards as much, but we will see as we go ahead, okay? I'm gonna light some sage, I'm gonna pray, and then we're just gonna kind of, you'll see, because this is gonna be more of like, what would I say it? How would I say it to not offend anyone? A vision, a premonition, okay? We'll just keep it as that so that everybody who receives this message, receives it with love and light, okay? So let's go ahead and pray. Father God, angels, divine Holy Spirit, and ancestors, please go ahead and protect my intuition, protect my platform, and protect the viewers that clicked on this video. Send them the same energy that they are sending myself. If they are sending love and light and healing, please send that back to them and their family tenfold. And if they are sending any evil eye, just return to the Most High and let the Most High deal with it as He seems fit. Before we go any further, guys, my personal readings are open. So if you guys want to support me, or if this story finds any kind of resonance with you, my email will be down below and you can go ahead and reach out to me that way. Only serious inquiries only. Once payment is received, then I will go ahead and deliver the message 24 to 48 hours, okay? Thank you so much for all your love and support. So guys, in this little premonition that I got, this is going to be expressing a story about a divine feminine and a divine, or a feminine and a masculine, and how they evolved in their, I guess, twin flame, high level soulmate, high level union journey, okay? So we'll see how long it goes. We'll see how, what wants to flow out. I'm just gonna allow spirit to channel through me and give the message of how I'm seeing it in my third eye, okay? So let's go ahead and clear the energy. Beautiful. Okay, so once upon a time there was this divine feminine, and she wasn't a divine feminine yet. She was actually just a girl with a very kind heart, right? Did what she had to do, had a past, been through trauma, but was an overall decently kind-hearted girl. And out of nowhere, there was, okay, let's go ahead. And then there's this divine masculine. Wasn't very popular growing up, had to find his way, but did find his way. And I think found some success on his way too. However, that success kind of ate his identity. Yes, I think both of these people did come from poverty at one point in time, okay? Or maybe because that success, thank you Spirit, ate his identity, he was almost stripped from that success as well, okay? So that did put that masculine energy in a home. It did put him in a house. You hear the sirens? This is the same energy that I pick up in the divine feminine and the divine masculine readings. Now, I also want to address with you guys is when I speak about my twin flame or the divine masculine, and I say personal testimonies, I know both sides, okay? I know the physical person somewhat, but I know the spiritual person, the divine side of my twin flame. So when I address my twin flame, I'm addressing my twin flame in his highest vibration, in his highest state, and that's in the spirit, okay? I see people's souls, so I recognize his spirit. Does that mean that his 3D vessel is connected with that soul? Not necessarily. okay? We all have our higher selves and we have our lower selves, and we have to come into balance with the both, okay? So when I address my twin flame, I know I have some viewers that are thinking, oh, she's talking about this person, right? Not necessarily. Yes, coming into contact and meeting that person ignited that connection of meeting that soul level connection. If you guys understand, please go ahead and like the video. So like I always address, we have two parts of us, right? We do have the masculine and the feminine within us both, but then we also have our soul self and our 3D self that has to find that equilibrium between us both as well. So when I am addressing the divine masculine, and when I speak out of personal testimony, as I still love my twin flame, I'm not necessarily saying that I'm attached to the physical person. I'm saying that because my soul has evolved and has come into balance with both, I can resonate with that person's soul, because we are one soul together, which is how, if you're in one of those high level connections, you usually have telepathic communication. You guys are connected by strong parts in the body, okay? Mind, body, and soul. But not all of these divine or these masculines, their physicals are still trapped in the 3D. That's why a lot of these connections never come out in the physical, because they're too busy caught up with, you know, vanity, ego, arrogance, money, fame, all of these things, all this 3D strength, right? So I don't know if that makes sense, but I just really needed to break that down. However, during the full moon, I know there's a lot of manipulation with divine counterparts, because you can pull on each other's energy, okay? So I know during the full moon cycles and everything, my twin flame in the physical does things to pull on my energy, hence the videos that I posted below. Okay, but I am connected with his higher self, that soul level connection. And when they can come in between and balance the both, that is when they step into speaking their truth, their actions matching their words, the telepathic communication matches the actions in the 3D, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's go back onto this story. So there was this divine masculine who, you know, didn't come, maybe came from much, maybe didn't come from much, but ended up having much at some point. However, because of the ego, because of the arrogance, because of the choices, somewhere along the line lost that and ended up in a house with someone, right? With a 3D physical relationship. Okay, and so did the divine feminine, because they walk a similar path. You'll notice you'll bump into somebody and there's that instant connection, and then you're understanding, hey, you're doing the same things that I'm doing, or you've been through a lot of the same trials and tribulations that I have been through, but totally separate lives, right? Okay, so continuing on. So these two vessels now in the 3D have to overcome and do these lessons. The divine feminine had on her own, went through her own trials, tribulations, healing, time apart. This divine feminine had, she was not a divine feminine, she was not fully healed, let's just put it that way. And she came encounter, or they both synchronicity aligned with each other at some point in time, and that is when that connection took place. However, the divine feminine was healed enough to know what unconditional love was. However, the masculine energy was not in his divine energy, was not in his divinity at that point in time. And a lot of it had to do with the people, the places, the lifestyle, confirmation that he was around. It was loud, it was arrogant, it was obnoxious, right? And that put him in that mindset. Now, when he met the divine feminine, this feminine energy, Let's see if some cards want to come out before I go ahead and speak. Okay, unexpected income. So when he met the divine feminine, I think he might have saw this divine feminine in this energy as unexpected income, as some kind of gain. The energy that she harnessed was beneficial to this masculine. So he knew he had to keep her around, right? And these connections are very they have gifts, right? If you are one of these high level chosen, because even though this masculine wasn't in his divinity, he still is a chosen vessel. And even though this divine feminine might not have been fully healed, she still is a chosen vessel. And they recognize that both within each other in the 3D, okay? So I think that's what the masculine had seen in this feminine energy, that she is this unexpected income, this profitable energy source. Okay, that's a great way to put it. Thank you, Spirit. So this masculine knew he could not let this energy go. He needed to feed off of that energy, right? That was what he was sustaining his self on. You can't feed when everyone's draining you. You can't feed off of that. So you need to go out and feed off of someone. So this masculine energy did things behind this divine feminine's back, okay? Did a lot of things behind this. Yeah, you took this divine feminine through a really long journey, okay? Yes, there was a very long journey. And through that long journey and through all of that pain and manipulation, I do feel like now the divine feminine is going to be receiving some unexpected income for all the trials and tribulation, okay? But let's continue the story. So yes, he did have this divine feminine waiting on expectations, false hope, gaslighting, a lot of broken promises, right? And that's just because he was working out of ego, out of arrogance, out of a very low self. And the divine feminine knew that, saw that, but also wanted and gave him the benefit of the doubt, because she already recognized his divinity in him before he saw his divinity, because the divine feminine knew her own divinity within herself. Okay, it's a mirroring. These high level twin flame kind of divine unions, you almost mirror each other. So what you are feeling is almost what, okay, say the divine masculine is feeling insecure, say he's feeling, unwanted. When he feels that way, he's almost projecting that, but it's bouncing right back. So he's thinking, oh, she'll make me feel insecure, or she's making me feel like I'm not worthy, or those kind of things. It bounces back. Now the divine feminine, because the masculine is feeling these ways, he acts out in certain ways, right? Ghosting, gaslighting, and then that is a mirror reflect on the divine feminine, thinking confirmation, thinking, am I not good enough? Is there things that I need to work on? However, those are triggers that are brought up from childhood trauma, from issues, and the same thing with the masculine energy. And now there is some sort of separation, some sort of gap where the connection does take this big space, right? And though the souls are always connected, from the time you come into counter, the souls will always stay connected, because confirmation. I feel like somebody is very angry with me saying this right now. Somebody is getting very upset that I'm explaining a situation between two chosen vessels. But anyway, so where was I? So these chosen divine beings, right? They will always be connected in the spirit. They can do telepathy. They can almost read each other's thoughts. They can feel each other's pain, you know, finish each other's sentences. These are just things that happen, almost like how twins, you know, how real life twins, when you have two babies, they can almost do that same thing, right? It's the same kind of connection because it's that masculine and feminine, but together they are one, if that makes sense. Okay, now through that separation, that masculine energy was triggered in ways, but he didn't know how to heal himself because of all the things that he was hearing, all the outside sources, all the manipulation, all the chaos, all the drama, right? He didn't know how to heal himself and step into his divinity. Instead, he took a lower vibrational route, okay? And he stayed in that for such a long time, while the divine feminine here took that time to pour in self-love, to use those triggers as, am I not good enough? Oh, abandonment issues, lack of love. Instead, she got closer to the Most High, right? She connected herself back to God, and she poured self-love in and did it on the right side of the energy, and started seeing and reaping the benefits of that, which is heightened abilities, heightened gift, physical blessings, new opportunities, new ventures, and concern. It put that masculine in concern, because he's 33. He's saying, I'm supposed to be on that pathway. I'm supposed to be the one that's getting sudden wealth. I'm supposed to be that. And it triggered him. So what did he have to do? He had to come and thieve, right? He had to try to suck that energy, try to stunt that growth, because his physical was not ready to step onto that divinity, okay? He was not ready to shed the ego, take the mask off, and speak the truth and be vulnerable, because he had so much 3D strength, not spiritual strength, 3D strength, strength of titles, strength from wealth, strength from the peers around him, what they portrayed. And if people really knew the real him, he might think that he might not have that same level of respect, that same level of strength, that same level of status, right? While the divine feminine here didn't care what people thought of her. Her whole life, people looked at her as what they portrayed her to be. And at a point in time, you just have to understand that you're not going to please everyone, right? So she already knew that. So she was not afraid to show her true self. She was not afraid to be vulnerable. She was not afraid to be weak in moments. She was not afraid of anything. And that is that spiritual strength, because she is powered and loved and respected by the Most High. Do you see that balance? One is 3D, one is spiritual. Though the masculine is spiritual, but in a different kind of way, if that makes sense, okay? Please like the video if you resonate, okay? So now, this masculine energy had done a lot of things, okay? In this case and scenario, there was like things being done to keep eyes on this feminine energy, on this divine feminine. There was things being done, tracking, cameras and microphones in her home. There were spell work being done, anything to make sure that the divine feminine did not get too far ahead with that unexpected income, right? So they needed to make sure all eyes were on this divine feminine, because this divine feminine spiritual gifts got so heightened, and she got so connected to God that she turned into a psychic, okay, because of how gifted she was. Now, whatever was going on in this masculine's home, okay, community, home, whoever he hung around with, there was a lot of, and because this feminine energy was not afraid to be who she is and step in her purpose, a lot of these feminine energies are like the Queen of Wands, very intuitive, very mystical, very mysterious, very alluring, right? Very appealing to the eye, which very friendly, very outgoing, can attract a crowd. People like to watch, right? So it's easy for this divine feminine's energy to get jaded with everybody else's opinion of what she is, what she does, and how she moves, right? And so this masculine energy here, yes, became all in concern, right? Because at first he saw her. He did see that divinity. He did see that connection. But because it was such a strong chills, thank you, Spirit. But because it was such a strong, intense feeling, which this masculine energy has never felt before, he got afraid. And one is usually the runner and one is usually the chaser, right? However, when this masculine ran, this feminine energy did not chase. But she did stay in expectation for a while because she knew the mission. Let's just say that. She knew the calling. However, we all have free will, right? We all have free choice. And so at a point in time, this divine feminine had to realize, hey, I can't be expecting something that may never happen. I cannot be expecting someone to be able to come in balance with both higher and lower self. It is a hard thing to do. A lot of people do not want to do that. It's a lot of work to go and rehash childhood traumas, sexual abuse, codependencies, drug addictions, family and friends. It's hard to have to go back and face all of that. It's hard. Some do, and that's when they step into that divinity, right? However, this divine feminine did not chase, and her expectations ran out. And this masculine energy, who was thriving off this feminine's energy, had to realize, right? Oh no, my source is running out. My source is no longer there. So instead of, but not ready to step, but not ready to step in. So what did they have to do? Instead of stepping in their higher self, they decided to do trickery instead, right? Let's try to trick, deceive, manipulate. Like I was saying, trackers, cameras, hackers, microphones, all these things had to be done because this masculine energy was not ready. I want best of both. I want my spiritual strength from my divine feminine, but I also want to be, freely living a carefree life. I don't want to step into my mission. I don't want to step into my purpose, right? But the Most High orchestrates everything, and the Most High knew that this man was chosen, knew that there were things going on, but understood as well, there's only so many chances that I can keep giving you, right? What is this message that now wants to come toward this divine feminine? What is this message that wants to come to this divine feminine? Please go ahead and like it if you enjoy this little story time. Okay. I feel like now there is this message that wants to come through because this divine masculine, or this masculine energy, this 3D masculine energy, knows that there are a lot of insecurities that he has to deal with. He's insecure about this connection. He's insecure about everything that he has made deals with. But there has been a influence, if I should say the least. There has been a strong influence on this masculine energy. People in his ear, like the devil and the angel, coaching, but more devils, right? Coaching this masculine energy, teaching this masculine, do this, and this is how you are going to get your outcome. Oh, this is what you have to say. This is how you have to act if you want this sort of outcome. And instead of it playing the way that he expected it to play, it took a different turn. That's because this masculine energy is used to dealing with women that are not divine, that are not chosen, right? They may seem like they are on the outside. They may have the wealth, because I think that's what, you know, he's used to. Okay, you look nice on the outside, but does that mean your inner core is good? And I think that is kind of what this masculine energy over time started realizing, because after how many mistakes and how many things he has been doing to this feminine energy here, he had to reap some of that karma, right? It's gonna start coming back. So over time, he had to start realizing, why isn't any of this working? Why can't I impasse? Why can't I get through? Why can't I get through? Why isn't any of my tricks working? Why aren't all my plots and plans working? Because this feminine energy is way more connected. She has like a shield around her to stay divinely connected, because she has already, through that separation, gained a higher level of connection with the Most High. And when you are connected to the Most High, you see things, you understand things, and you learn things. However, there has been times when this divine feminine was triggered. There has been times like when this divine feminine found out there were cameras in her home and people watching her and tracking her. You know, of course, that upset this divine feminine energy, but then she had to pull back, right? Because as a divine feminine, you never step down. You may have moments where you do get triggered, okay? You may have moments where you do get triggered, but you never take your crown off and you never step down to these people. So you never let their low vibration, even if it is this masculine energy, who could be the divine, you know, if he connected with his higher self, could be, but even if it was him, the divine feminine knows, I can never lose who I am for someone outside of myself, even if it is a part of myself in a different vessel. Do you understand? I have to be the example, because I know my mission, I know my calling, I know who I am connected to, okay? Because it's like a trinity. There is the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and God, who embodies all. The divine feminine knows she's connected to the divine masculine, however, she's more connected to God. Okay, now when the divine masculine connects himself to the Most High, that is when that trinity can actually come into completion. Okay, now some of these divine masculines have been doing the work and going through the healing and really canceling, clearing, and deleting what no longer serves them, but a lot of them can't do that. So instead, they try to do those plots and those plans, like tracking and following and stopping messages and trying to block the divine feminine. And that is when that bad health kicks in, right? Some of these masculines have already gotten the bad health from the lifestyles that they've been living, from the things that they've been doing. They've already gotten bad health, and a lot of them will never be able to make their way back, because getting caught up with relationships, toxicity, you know, drug addictions, things like that, they've already accumulated a lot of bad health, okay? However, there are a lot of these divine masculines who actually did step into their divinity, and all the people around them, all the people around these divine masculines, right, were the ones manipulating, food poisoning, magic, all these things on these divine masculines to keep them in that 3D self, right? And every time they tried to break loose, it was just more on top of them. Every time they tried to escape, it was more on top of them, because these divine masculines have a hard time with just cutting it off completely, okay? Anything else about this little story? Yes. So now they get eaten up by the guilt from all the things that they've done to their counterpart, because they do now see through the fog. They do now see who this divine feminine was. They do now see That she is an earth angel, just toiling and laboring, while a lot of people in the back are, on drug addictions, on drinking alcohol, anything to try to numb that pain, especially when you are a twin. It is very hard when you go against your twin, because it's in the end going against yourself. That is why no matter what goes on in my personal situation, I know that I always have to try my best to stand in love, right? Regardless if I'm ever going to come into 3D connection, regardless if I'm ever going to, get the what is it? Clarity, I guess it would be. I mean, I do have the clarity, but I guess like hearing the clarity. Whether or not that ever comes, I have to understand that I need to stand in love, because if I ever choose to physically out of my heart go against, that's just going to go against the Most High. And that's going to stifle my blessings. That's going to hinder my gifts. That's going to, pretty much clog up my pipe, right? Let's see what else. What's going on with this divine feminine now? What's going on with this divine feminine now, Spirit? What can we see at this journey? What's going on with this divine feminine now? I also feel this masculine energy knows that there is a message that needs to be said, knows that that is the just thing to do, but is very insecure, and the devil has pulled on his heartstrings so much that he's almost so insecure to even go ahead and do this, because just as highly awakened and tapped in this divine masculine is, he also knows that this divine feminine's gifts are even more heightened and tapped in, because a lot of these, like I said, it's that 3D, right? A lot of these masculines are very knowledgeable with the 3D. That means, like how I said, tracking and tech savvy and cameras and all of these kind of things, but that's 3D. This divine feminine here doesn't need any of that 3D. She can get the answers by just closing her eyes and meditating. She can get the answers by just looking somebody in the eye, and it's like reading their whole entire life, she knows. This divine feminine looks somebody in the eyes and understands what their weaknesses are and what their strengths are, understands what drives a person to go after the things they go after. This divine feminine can look at somebody and see, I know exactly what it is that what you go after. I don't know how, I just know what drives you, right? I know your insecurities, and I know your wants and your needs. And when somebody meets somebody like that, it is a little intimidating, especially if you've been hiding behind a mask of your job, your income, your career, all these high 3D things. If that your status, if that's what you've been hiding behind your whole life, and here comes this, feminine energy who just looks at you and reads you like a book, right? The only thing is, this divine feminine can do this with everyone. It's that gift because she has connected with that divinity, right? Anything else, Spirit, before I choose a different deck? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else for the masculine? Wow, do you see how quick this deck wants to speak for the masculine? Grief, yes. So now this masculine energy is in grief, right? Understanding that everything that I've done, it put me in this grief energy. I feel like I have, lost my loyalty, right? He sees you, Divine Feminine, as that loyalty. There could be a whole bunch of people around him, though he feels empty inside, because the one person that truly loved him unconditionally, not for that mask, right, but for that soul, because knew that you were connected to the soul self, not necessarily the physical, but that soul connection, right? Now he's realizing, grieving just that, which is, I guess a tough pill to swallow in the end. All right. Oh, they want me to pull from this one. Let's see. Anything for this Divine Feminine that wants to come out? Yes. The universe is saying passion ignited. So, I mean, I have yet to see. But if we are ending this in a beautiful love story, which we could, because it's just a twin flame saga, right? This is not real. It's not based on anything, because we don't want to trigger anyone, right? Just take this message as a fun, flirty message. But if you think it resonates, take where it resonates and apply it to your situation, okay? What can we see for this feminine energy? Okay. All right, we have material harvest. And I feel like the Divine Feminine has also started working on a lot of passions and a lot of material harvest. She turned her pain into passion. She turned her hurt into harvest, right? Yes, and she is still doing this with the universe. She's understanding that we all have free will, we all have choice. And I understand that through this journey, the biggest thing that I could have done is connect back to God, back to the universe, and understand that yes, everyone does have these high-level connections and these high-level soulmates and these high-level unions, and the only way they're going to manifest in our life is when we tap into our divinity with God. There are multiple, guys, because I can tell you, at first I thought that was my person, right? And in a sense, yes, I think the twin flame is one of the highest level connections, but I have been meeting really divine counterparts. I have been meeting these other divine counterparts, and it's like these people exist, that other men that have stepped into their spiritual and in their divinity, other men who know how to let their actions follow their words, and those kind of things as well. So if you feel like your expectations hanging around your twin flame, if you're tired of waiting around, if you're tired of having these expectations, put yourself back out there. But right now, I think the universe is saying, yes, just stand in your power and follow your destiny, whatever you are called to do. Because a lot of these divines, once you come into one of these high-level connections and you work in the highest vibration, you are able to step into your purpose, step into your calling, and you're led by God, right? My calling was to come on and create videos and to use my spiritual gifts and my spiritual abilities to pull energy and share my journey through this platform to help other people on their journey, or other people who haven't met high-level connections but want to. How do you do that? You have to do that self-care. You have to do that self-love. You have to raise your vibration. You have to understand the energy that you give out is the same energy that you're calling back in, regardless if you're divine partner, your counter, whatever it is still in that 3D mindset and that 3D frame of life. You have to understand their soul is always connected to yours, and you can see that positive. That's why it's hard to watch other readers as well, because not a lot of people explain it the way that I am in this video, and I was called to explain it like this because I've been hearing, divine masculine in this low vibrational energy, and then divine masculine in this healing energy, and some of them are healing, but not all of them are, and it's because they're still in that 3D cycle, right? That 3D loop. But there is a lot of manipulation around this journey. So you also have to be aware of that. There are a lot of people whoever were in this divine masculine's past, or in this community, who want to manipulate and project energy onto the divine feminine as if it is the masculine, and some of them it is the masculine doing this. So that's where you have to really understand and take the situation as you seem fit. For me, I don't know the answers. I haven't spoken to my divine masculine. I haven't in the physical. I haven't understood where his mindset is at in the physical. So what do I do for my platform and my growth? Whenever I pull or share personal testimonies, I don't even regard the 3D masculine energy. I always connect to the highest masculine energy. That's why when I put out messages, I want my messages to be pure love and light. Does that mean, and that's why like the wedding energy and the love energy comes out, because that's your divine masculine's higher self wanting to connect with the other side of the divine feminine's higher self. Now, does that mean that the 3D is going to come together? Not necessarily. And that's where these divine feminines have to gain and understand. That's where those expectations have to be more realistic, if that makes sense, okay? Because some of these masculine energies are stuck in situations that they will never get themselves out of. Some of these masculine energies, like I said, have already accumulated so much bad health and bad karma that God will not let them come back. Okay, so that's just something that we have to realize, right? And like I always said from the beginning, this is a solo journey, but it's a solo journey knowing both halves of yourself, the divine feminine and the divine masculine within one being. And if you've never come into encounter with your high-level soulmate, then that is knowing that light and dark in oneself. But if you do come into contact, yes, it is learning oneself, but it's also learning that soul self as well. But then in the 3D, having the groundedness of understanding that it may never happen, and that's okay. You'll always have that spiritual connection. You'll always know each other in the spirit, but then you have to understand and deprogram yourself that some of these masculine energies still do trickery, like gaslighting, or tell you things, you know, I'm coming in, I'm going to see you, and and those are things in that that a lot of people can get caught up with in these readings, right? And get their hopes up and their expectations rise and all of these things just to be brought down again. And that's why I thought, you know, I need to come on and I need to address it, because I've already come into the clarity of this journey, right? I've already understood this journey fully. Now it's up to the energies of what they want to do, right? If my divine counterpart wants to stay stuck in that 3D, that's his choice. That's his cycle that he's going to have to do. However, I choose to co-create with the universe, right? And the universe knows what I need. The universe and God is going to bless me with what I need. So if I need a physical person in my life, the universe will send a replacement in, or send another divine counterpart in, because we do have more than one. There are twin flames, there are twin rays, there are high divine life partners, there are soulmates, there are, I think that's it. There are a lot though, okay? So don't get your hopes up like, oh, you know, they're still in this low vibrational energy, still doing trickery, still doing all of this, still dating all these other people, doing whatever they need to do, still choosing not to heal. That's okay. Still connect with them in their spirit. Send them love and light and blessing, right? Their 3D is so, it's hard to get out of the physical. It really is, especially if you have a lot of people around you, especially if you have a whole family, especially if you have all these karmic toxicity traits that you don't want to heal. It's very hard to get out of that. Some do, some never do, okay? Right? And with everything, you just need to see the light in that, right? As a divine feminine, we are usually the ones who lead our masculines out of the dark. And not just our masculines, but a lot of people, once we step into that divinity with God, with the Creator, with the Most High, whoever you call on for your higher power, your higher source, they fill you with that light. Your light radiates because it comes from within, right? Some of you guys get on this journey of self-love and self-practice, right? And when you're dedicated to that and to your material harvest, into your destiny, standing in your power, you only can radiate that light, right? But just like a light, all the moths and all the insects and all the beetles, they all want to come to that light as well. And they all want to hover around that light to try to stay warm, but also dim that light out. And that's when you have to even shine brighter, right? You have to understand, I have enough light to go around. Okay, I know that these people around me only want me around because they need that energy, they need that source. But you have to come into that power to understand the light is what ends darkness. The light overpowers darkness, right? So you need to stand in that power and know that you are that strength. You are that strength. So yes, retreat when you need to replenish your light. Retreat when you need to confirmation. Retreat when you need to, refill yourself. But then always know you don't need to stay away from the darkness, right? You don't need to stay away. You don't need to be afraid. You don't need to be weary of the darkness, because you know that you are the source. You get powered by the Most High. You are protected by the Most High. This is why the Most High chose you, collective. Okay, so my divine feminines know, and divine feminines could be a male, could be a female, but I'm almost talking to the divine feminine females right now. We are the fertile ones. We are the ones that can create life. We are the ones that are needed in this world, right? We are needed in this world to keep this world going, right? It's a beautiful energy. And when you understand that power that you have, when you understand that you are that divinity, you're not afraid to step in a room full of energy vampires, because you understand, I am far more too strong now, right? I am far more too strong. And whenever I feel a little weak, I'm going to retreat and I'm going to connect myself back to the Most High, no matter what. Yes, because I've gained the awareness, because I know that my mind and my body is that vessel connected and chosen from the Most High. No matter what situation I am in, no matter what I am going through, I will be triumphant. I will have triumphant success in whatever I go ahead and do, because I radiate that light. I choose to act out of my highest self. And the people that have done you wrong, and the people that have done trickery, if it is your masculine energy and whoever is around him, that have done negative energy, they will get served how God sees fit. Okay, that is not a job for a divine feminine, and at sometimes it is hard. I can admit myself, just recently I was put through a lot of trickery, a lot of deceit, but it brought so much clarity, it brought so much ending, it brought so much ease, but it did trigger me. It did trigger me, and I had to take some time back. I had to disconnect from all phone. I just went away. I went off of social media. I went off of internet. I went off of everything for almost a week. I just did a huge detox, and the level of clarity was out of this world, but it was a big release. It was a big release. We were just talking about that. The past wants to cling on, right? These moths, they don't want to have to go fly around to find another light. They don't want to do that. They want your light. So instead of you, right, instead of you turning off your light and saying, no, it's too much. These moths, it's too much. I just need to turn my whole light off. Take some time to retreat. If you have to turn it off for a little while just to be able to build that flame back up, then do that. But just remember that when you come back and you come back to help these people, your light is going to radiate 10 times brighter, and you'll be able to help these people 10 times more. Some of them you won't be able to help. Some of them you won't. And it's just that if you go back and it's the same thing and it's the same energy and it's the same low vibration, that's when you have to just, you know what, I've tried my best, but distance is what we need. Distance is what we need, right? Beautiful energy. Spirit, how do you want to close this out with this twin flame saga story? If you guys like these twin flame stories, if you want a part 2, comment down below what would happen if you want to see them come together. What would that outcome look like? What would the outcome look like if they stayed apart? What would be the outcome for the divine feminine? What would be the outcome for the divine masculine? Okay, I think these are beautiful ways, because it's just, it's just little bits here and there. I don't want to, trigger anybody. So we're just saying that this is, a story time, something that's just free flowing from spirit. But if it does resonate with bits and pieces out of your life, definitely take it back up to God and apply it how it seems fit. Okay, it's like a little movie. We're almost an hour in. Beautiful. Moving on. All right, so I do see like these energies in this scenario will be moving on, right? We'll be moving on. Let's see what else. Yes, we'll be moving on, but one will be rejoicing in celebration. Maybe both of you will be rejoicing in celebration. That would be such a beautiful energy. Moving on from past and rejoicing in celebration, that would be beautiful. Let's see what else. Sacrifice. Okay, there is a sacrifice that has to be made. I think this whole situation is a sacrifice, right? In meeting your divine counterpart and then realizing that the 3Ds aren't on the same equal vibration, right? The souls are, but the 3Ds are not. It is a sacrifice to have to say, hey, I know what God called for me, but we're just not equally matched in the 3D right now. All right, I need to move on to be able to find my rejoice and celebration. This is a sacrifice that I had to make, but I have to follow that because it's God's promise over my life. I do see a feminine energy in white, so maybe this is what the divine feminine is saying. Take it how it resonates. What else do we have here? All right, foundation and achievements. And I feel like this is what the masculine energy is needing to work on, is his foundation and his achievements, right? I feel both energies are working on that, but I feel like the divine feminine is more in this energy of, I need to move on to be able to rejoice in celebration. And I know this is a big sacrifice that I have to make, but this is what I have to do in this scenario and in this story, okay? If it doesn't resonate with you, don't take it. If you still feel like you want to wait on expectation, then go ahead and do that. But in this case, in this scenario, this divine feminine here is saying, this is a sacrifice that I have to make. Our 3D selves are not equally aligned right now. I see things that I know that the universe has called for me, that I know that I have to align myself with. And yes, even though it was supposed to be you, you have free will, right? And I feel like this masculine energy is now really just having to go through lessons and cycles again with his foundation, with his achievements, because he still continues to wear that mask, right? And when you continue to wear that mask of hiding behind status, hiding behind wealth, hiding behind a title, hiding behind friends and ego and arrogance, all those things will fade in the end. That power, that strength will die out, because it's like, what does God say? Never place your strength or on an item or on something, right? Place your strength on me, and all that will be blessed onto you. That is what the divine feminine did and is doing. And God has told her it's time to sacrifice, because you've gave too much of yourself for this situation, right? In this. right? And then yes, love begins. Love begins. So guys, this is where I'm gonna end it here. We're gonna head and just keep this as like, you know, to be continued, because who knows, maybe this masculine energy has focused on his foundation and achievements, and maybe they have sacrificed it and it will come back together. Maybe a whole new love situation will come in with a high level soulmate. We don't know what's gonna happen, but this here is where it stops. I hope you guys like this little twin flame saga. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below, let me know, what would you want to see? Do you want to see where this divine masculine or this masculine energy goes to, where this feminine energy goes to? It's beautiful that we ended it on love begins one, a whole new cycle. So it's curious. I'm curious myself, like what's gonna happen? What are we doing here? Anyway, if you guys are in one of these high level soulmates, high level twin flame, divine counterpart, all these kind of things, comment down below, let me know. But this is it for now. I love you guys. It's 5 on the clock, and I'll see you later. Bye.